welcome to our home on wheels. We thought it would be fun to show you guys the ins and outs of the van, do a little van tour, and just show you how we're able to live full-time in our self-converted van.
So the van is a 2020 Ford Transit 250, brand new. We bought it brand new from the factory. Has all the bells and whistles, more so than you'd think are in a van. Wi-Fi built in, remote start from your phone, remote unlock, remote lock, all sorts of nifty features. And we've done a lot of exterior modifications to it to allow us to get to places like this, where we are right now, in the National Forest just north of Breckenridge, Colorado, with views like this. Pretty crazy. We get to camp here tonight, which is really cool. Completely free too. And we're able to for multiple nights in a row because of solar and water and the van itself. Let's take a tour.
So one of the first things that we do every time we set up is we turn our swivel seat, which is a huge feature of the van. It's super simple. It's really easy to do. All you do is pull the seat forward. Then there is a little lever underneath, and then you just swivel it around. And then push it back.
I do most of the driving around here by my own. She offers, I promise. I just prefer to drive. But anyways, the driving compartment is super easy. It's super comfortable, a lot more comfortable than you would think a big commercial van would be. Yeah, the seats are super comfortable. It drives really nicely. It's got the 3.5 twin turbo EcoBoost motor. Makes a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque to move this big old machine, and it has no problem.
I just want to add, I don't do a lot of the driving, but I do not mind driving this at all. I thought it was going to be really scary being such a big vehicle, but it really just feels like you're driving an SUV.
I mean, it's cruise control, you know, everything a normal car nowadays has. Auto lane keep assist, which is awesome for a big truck van like this. Because, you know, the wind does affect it, but it's not bad because the computer just makes sure you stay straight in your lane. Auto wipers, auto high beams, really a lot more features than you would really expect in a commercial cargo van. So it's pretty neat.
All right, so the first thing you'll notice when you come into the van is that we have tons of storage. James installed this upper cabinet. We typically put our window coverings up here, but it can hold a lot more, so plenty of storage up here. This was already in the van, and we obviously use it quite a bit for books and whatever else we want. Over here we have a tall closet, which is really nice for hanging jackets, puffier stuff. It's just nice to have things hanging instead of taking up space in our closet cabinets over there. We also have a built-in safe down here. We typically put our camera equipment, our laptops, things like that whenever we're leaving the van, and that is bolted in so no one can break in and just steal the safe. Okay, right here is how you turn on the lights, and you just hold your finger down. It'll beep when they're on. It can dim them or brighten them up. All right, over here we have our bathroom, which is a wet bath. You can shower. Our toilet is also in there. We decided to do the Nautilus sliding bathroom door instead of a curtain. We've heard mixed reviews about the curtains. They just aren't conducive to keeping water in the bathroom. So it's super simple. It just slides open. We have our shower over here, and then our composting toilet. We also installed a clothesline. It just goes right here. We can hang clothes if we want to dry them. Okay, over here we have our kitchen, which you can see we have tons of counter space. This makes it super easy to cook dinner. Our sink is really nice. It's a pretty deep stainless steel sink with a hose. To turn it on, you just flip this switch that turns on our water pump, which then allows us to run water. It also comes with a cutting board, which is nice. Gives us extra counter space, but we honestly don't need it because we have tons of counter space. So within our kitchen, we have tons of storage. Underneath here is where we just keep our, trash can, Clorox wipes, stuff like that. We also installed a drawer that is slow closing, which really helps to keep it from sliding open when we're driving. And it's great because we have all of our utensils and stuff like that in there. Then we have our fridge, which I was honestly a little nervous about our fridge. I didn't think it would hold quite a lot, but it really does. We go to the grocery store maybe once a week at the absolute most. We can really keep quite a bit in here. There is a freezer section, which is nice as well. This cabinet is strictly our pantry. We keep our food down there, and then we also keep our propane stove, which we just pull out and cook our meals on. Tons of storage, super deep. It's great.
So these are the upper cabinets. They're bolted into the frame, so they are super solid, using real cabinetry techniques. Dadoed cabinets, if you know what that means. But the cabinet faces are shaker style, and we did this cane webbing to, one, it looks cool, it's trendy, and two, it actually is lightweight. Tried to save as much weight as completely possible when it's up high. So anything helps. They open up, they all open with struts, gas struts. They hold them open, they hold them closed. Yeah, and they work really well. They're pretty deep, they're pretty tall. We've had no issues with the amount of storage that we have. And also, talking about stuff up high, cedar, tongue and groove ceiling, because one, cedar is extremely lightweight, it's one of the lightest woods. It also repels bugs, and it repels water. So no moisture really sits up there. Obviously it's sealed up top, so no water gets in there, but moisture doesn't hang out around there, and it will never mold and whatnot. That's why I chose cedar.
This area is just another area for storage. We keep our shoes and toiletry type stuff in here. Again, it's super deep. This van really does not lack storage whatsoever. We've not struggled at all trying to find a place for all of our things.
All right, so the countertops are solid maple butcher block counters. They're not IKEA veneered or whatnot. They are super solid. Yeah, no issue there. And then this panel is actually access to the plumbing of the shower. If we're not taking showers for a long time, or not in the van, I mean, then we can cut off with valves in here. That way no water is actually flowing to the shower head unnecessarily. And it's just an access panel to all the plumbing equipment. And then we do have smoke detectors, or a smoke detector, installed, ready to go, up high, catches all the smoke. It works really well. Two other switches here mounted on the wall. They're empty. Obviously this one is for the water pump, but these two I left empty for future use, such as an exterior lighting system. I don't know, anything 12 volt you might want to power and want easy access to. There is two switches you can plug into, and this panel pops off, and it's easy to wire things through the wall.
Knew that we would be doing a lot of working from the road, and so James installed this pop-up desk, which is super nice because when it's down, it gives us a lot of room, but when it's up, we can sit here and have our computers out, anything that we need, and then it just pops right back down. Another area for storage are the two seats that we have installed. These cushions just pop right up, and there's tons of storage. There's another one on this side. We also have a lagoon table that can be mounted right here. We keep it in the front closet. So you can mount that right here, and two people can sit here and enjoy a meal.
So some of the electrical and accessories, we have a 110 volt for charging, whatever, powering. And then we have this timed switch, which is actually for the water heater. The water heater takes about 8 minutes to get the water hot, and it obviously will keep the water hot if it's plugged in and running. So I installed a time switch, so you could hit the 30-minute switch, and in about 8 minutes, you would have 22 minutes before it cuts off and doesn't make hot water anymore. So it's just a power saver to make sure we wouldn't drain our battery bank. And then we also have 12-volt USB outlets for charging, you know, the world of things that need charged. Moving over here, we have our 12-volt and 110-volt breaker panel. And there we go. It is all in one, all right there, easy access. It's really cool. It has lights that turn on for all these 12-volt accessories. If one of them blows, it will tell you which one, and just replace the fuse, and hopefully you have no issues at that point. And you also have your 110 outlets that power all the outlets throughout the van. And then next to that, finally, is our Victron BMV 712, and it connects completely to the solar and power system. And what it does is allow you to look at your phone, connect to it via Bluetooth, and it can tell you state of charge, how much solar you're pulling in, how much more time you have on your battery bank before they need to recharge. And then we also have more accessories over here. Another 110-volt outlet for kitchen accessories, and then more 12-volt charging USB ports. We have these awesome marine fans that are hardwired into the 12-volt system, one for each person sleeping, and you can twist them and rotate them and do whatever you want for a little bit of cooling at nighttime. Also, these fans don't hurt. They're really soft and rubber. I mean, obviously my foot sometimes hits it, and it doesn't hurt at all. It just brushes right off, just so you know.
One thing that I was really nervous about when we moved into a van was closet space and how much clothes I could bring on the van. So this is James's closet, mine is over there, and as you can see, we can fit a ton of stuff. These are pretty deep, and so you can really squeeze in quite a bit of clothes up here. Again, we have not had an issue when it comes to storage. We also installed a projector to watch movies and TV shows at night. Super simple, you just pull these down. That's our screen. Over here is the actual projector. It's called a Nebula projector. You can just plug a USB into the Nebula and then just select your movies from that. We also have 2 night lights that have USB ports in them for charging your phone at night, and you just tap that. There's 4 different selections for brightness. So we have the Dometic Fantastic fan. We installed it right above our bed. It's really super simple. You can pull air in or you can pull air out. So whenever we're pulling air out, we'll just kind of roll the front windows down a little bit, and then all you do is unscrew this to open up the fan.
Something else cool about the Ford Transit is it's the tallest van of all the commercial vans available. So I'm 6'2", and I still, with shoes on, I still have a good few inches above my head, so it's really no issue standing in this van for me. It's also pretty wide in that I am able to, at 6'2", relatively comfortably sleep sideways, to where we didn't have to make this bed come out this far, but more it could stay back there and we'd have more living room up here. But I did that by creating these cutouts at the foot and the head of the sleeping area, to where your pillow kind of tucks nicely in there, your feet tuck nicely in there, and I can sleep just fine. If anybody is shorter than me, you would sleep really nice on this bed. But yeah, the rest of it is completely insulated. These are the only sections that don't have as much insulation, but it is insulated lightly behind that, but to save space. So on the exterior, we have a flat line Vanco roof rack, flat line ladder for access. It's all aluminum, it's lightweight, and it's really strong. I mean, I can mount whatever I want to the van. On the other side, I have tools, axes, and shovels and whatnot. Now, modifications to the van are, I squeezed as big of tires as absolutely possible with the lift that I installed. They're maybe right underneath 32s if you're interested, but they are BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2s, and they're incredible off-road. I rarely even spin a wheel off-road with this. So yeah, super spring lift in there, and it helps to support the weight that's in this van, and it helps to make the van more easily drivable on roads and turns and whatnot. It doesn't sway around like you would expect a big heavy vehicle to. Mounted up here is a WeBoost antenna and connection system. I don't know the specific model. I could let you know. It's the latest and greatest that WeBoost has for RVs and vans and off-road overlanders and whatnot. And it helps a lot when you have maybe a little bit of service. It gives you a lot of service. Mounted on the roof also is about 385 watts of solar panels. It's 2 giant panels that take up the majority front third of the roof. And behind that is a roof deck for hanging out and having the paddle boards up there and whatever else you need. So it's really fun. Starting down below, it has a super burly hitch, 2-inch, for either trailering or bike rack, storage rack, whatever you want. It's really good to go. Hardcore, everything's plugged in, ready to go. Mounted to the doors are 5 gallons of fuel if you need to carry extra fuel, and a waterproof Pelican knockoff case that houses our hose for filling up water, extension cords for plugging in when we're at RV parks or at friends' houses and need to get a quick charge on our solar system. And it's all locked and ready to go. We also keep our sandals out here. Moving to the rear and garage space of the van is the garage space of the van. Moving to the garage, we have our garage space and just tons of storage. As you can tell, we probably travel with too much stuff. A lot of the stuff I actually don't even access, so we probably brought too much, but you know, it is what it is. That's how we roll. But the 2 big compartments are, this is where all of your water system is housed. This is where all your plumbing, aside from the hoses and PEX tubing that goes to your faucets and shower and whatnot, everything is housed in here. You have your water heater, your water pump, your water tank, 33 gallons of fresh water. It is more than enough for multiple days off of the grid. And then it's just a super easy hose fill up. You just plug your filter into this, which is housed on the back of the door, plug your hose into it, and you fill up until it's full. Obviously more storage. This bed is completely removable. It's made of aluminum, and it can be folded up, taken out to where you have lots of access if you need to get to any of these boxes, which we haven't. We don't plan on needing to. It's all super well constructed, built. Everything I made sure was top of the line and would not fail on us. So have not really even needed access to these. On this panel box is propane, which is vented to the outside, and all of the electrical system. So we have our solar controller, our 3,000 watt inverter for running anything we need to run, our batteries. It's also our propane tank. Yeah, so it's just everything electrical, everything propane is in there. There's a hose connected to this propane tank that runs all the way to the kitchen. If you want to run either heaters or your stove off of this giant propane tank, you can. 2 other important things to note is we have vents cut out into the cabinet that vent the heat from the refrigerator, so it's not just stuck in this cabinet. That's really important for vans. And then underneath the sink is a 5-gallon gray water tank. It's right here. Big tank, mounted with riv nuts to the frame of the van. It's not ever coming down, and it's where you can drain and get rid of your gray water. Another tank is mounted underneath the shower, another 5-gallon tank, and it does the exact same thing. So when they're full, you just have to go either to a dump site or wherever and dump your gray water to get rid of your water. Another thing to note is here's where you would mount your Propex heating system, propane heating system. They mount under the seat. You cut a little hole out for the vent, and then that's where your heating system lives, and it's not taking up any space, and it pushes air back throughout the van.
Thanks for watching our van tour. I hope you guys loved it.
Yeah, hope it was informative for those interested in how we built our van. Obviously, it's kind of a brief overview, but all the construction is not that interesting.
No, it's super interesting.
Cut that out.
Bye.